Okay, so today we are carrying on with our poetry unit, and the poem we're going to be reading today is called The Magic Box. As with yesterday, have a go at reading the poem yourself, pause the video or download the PDF from the website. Have a go at reading it yourself. Okay, underline any words you're not sure of, ask a grown-up, and then unpause the video and I will read it for you. The Magic Box by Kit Wright. I will put in the box the swish of a silk sari on a summer night, fire from the nostrils of a Chinese dragon, the tip of a tongue touching a tooth. I will put in the box a snowman with a rumbling belly, a sip of the bluest water from Lake Lucerne, a leaping spark from an electric fish. I will put in the box 3 violet wishes spoken in Gujarati, the last joke of an ancient uncle, and the first smile of a baby. I will put in the box a 5th season and a black sun, a cowboy on a broomstick and a witch on a horse. My box is fashioned from ice and gold and steel, with stars on the lid and secrets in the corners. Its hinges are the toe joints of dinosaurs. I shall surf on my box on the great high rolling breaks of the wild Atlantic, then wash ashore on a yellow beach the colour of the sun. Your questions from the poem today. What is the poem about? Question 1. What is the poem about? Why has Kit Wright written this poem? Okay. Question 2. Why do you think the poet has used lots of senses in the poem? Question 3, what is the box made from? Question 4, how does Kit Wright describe the colour of the beach? Question 5, can you see a pattern in the poem? Question 6, what would you put in your box if you were going to make one? Okay, so that's quite an exciting question, the one at the end. What would you put in your box? Okay, pause the video while you have a go and we'll look through the answers together. Okay, question 1 was what is the poem about? Well, the title gives us a clue. Okay, it's going to be about a box. Okay, and we have got here, I will put in the box, I will put in the box, I will put in the box, I will put in the box. We've got 4 of those, and then I shall surf on my box. Okay, so our poet is telling us what he is putting in this magic box. And this magic box, I think, has got everything in that Kit Wright, our poet, would like to put in his all of the things that he finds magical. Okay, so he finds a swish of a silk sari on a summer night magical. He finds the leaping spark from an electric fish magical. He finds the first smile of a baby magical. He's listing all of these things that he finds magical. And he is telling us that as the reader, okay? This might not be what you find magical, but it's what he finds magical. Okay. So why do you think the poet has used lots of senses in the poem? So you've got the swish. Okay, so a bit of onomatopoeia there, the swish. So that's something that you can hear. Okay. Fire from the nostrils of a Chinese dragon. There's not a word there, but that's something that perhaps you might feel. If you close your eyes, and I'll say it for you. Fire from the nostrils of a Chinese dragon. I don't know about you, but when I read that, I could feel the heat. You've seen fire burst out of somewhere before. I could almost feel the heat, like the heat you'd get off a bonfire. The tip of the tongue touching a tooth. Have a go at doing that. That is something that everybody's done. Everybody's got a tongue and they can touch their teeth. Okay, that is something that you've done before and you can almost feel it. So that's another feel. Okay, a rumbling belly of the snowman. Okay, so another word that tells us how something is sounding. The sip of the bluest water. Okay, so a sip. We've got that taste, haven't we? That element of taste. We've got the bluest water, so we can see what it looks like. We can see a leaping spark from an electric fish. Okay, we've got lots and lots of senses in there, guys. Have a little think. Let's have a look at the two stanzas that we have looked at, the two stanzas, the two verses. Okay, because our question says why. Why do you think this poet has used lots of senses in the poem? Okay, I think it is to add effect, to keep the reader excited, to keep the reader engaged. Okay, because if you think, if Kit Wright said, I will put in the box a sari at night, fire from a dragon, a tongue in a mouth. I will put in the box a snowman, a sip of water, a leaping fish. Would it be as exciting? No, it wouldn't, would it? Okay, we've got all this ambitious and exciting vocabulary, all of these senses, our links to our senses, because it makes you as the reader understand a little bit better what Kit Wright is feeling and what he is seeing. Okay, it describes it really well to you. Question 3. What is the box made from? Okay, this one's quite an easy one. It says here, my box is fashioned from ice and gold and steel. So the word fashioned here means made. My box is made from ice and gold and steel. So your answer would be, what is the box made from? The box is made from ice and gold and steel. How does Kit Wright describe the colour of the beach? Okay, that was in the last stanza. So, then wash ashore on a yellow beach, the colour of the sun. So I wasn't looking on this one. I wasn't looking for, he describes it as yellow. Okay. I want, the colour is yellow, but he describes it as the colour of the sun. Okay. Question 5. Can you see a pattern in the poem? When I first read this, I couldn't see a pattern. There's not a pattern. It's not like the poem we looked at yesterday, is it? It's not got an obvious rhyming pattern. It's not a rhyming poem. Okay, it's a poem to do with your senses. So there's not a pattern in it. There's a little bit of a visual pattern in that every stanza up until halfway through the poem starts with I will put in the box. Okay, but in terms of a rhyming pattern, there is not one. Question 6, what would you put in your box if you were going to make one? Again, that's not something that we're going to answer now. Okay, it's completely personal to you. What would you put in your magic box? Okay, if you want to, you could have a go at writing a poem in the style of this. What would go into your magic box? But think about all the things we've talked about. Okay, think about how you could use the senses in your poem to really appeal and engage your reader. Okay, because the best poems will be the ones where the poet has thought about their reader and the senses that they would use.
Hi class 3, hope you're okay. We're going to go through yesterday's answers to the learning that you did. So you'll do it and secure it before moving on to today's learning. Okay, so you were comparing durations, so you had to find the duration for each time frame and then write the symbol to show me which one was greater, which duration was greater. Okay, it would have been easier if you wrote out the two time frames. Literally just did this in your book. Okay, just how it's set out here. So I'm just going to talk about it and then put in the symbols down the middle for you. So for number 1, the first time frame is between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. So they're both o'clock, so 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the afternoon and evening. So neither of them have any minutes past the hour. So all you've got to compare there is your hours. So the duration there would be between 2 and 6, which is 4 hours. I'm just going to make my font slightly smaller. Go. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that duration there was 4 hours. And then here we've got 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. So that's 8 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So that again, They're both o'clocks. The only difference there is the hours. You've just got to count the difference between 8 and 12. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's also 4 hours, which means those durations are equal because they are the same. They're equal to one another. Even though the times are different, the durations are the same. Well done if you got that one. Number 2, you've got between 7:30 a.m., so 7:30 in the morning, and 9:30 a.m., 9:30 in the morning. So again, both of your minutes are the same here. They're both 12:30, so the only difference you need to find there for your duration is between the hours. So 7:30, I'm just going to count on in hours, 8:30, 9:30. So the difference there was 2 hours. And for this one, we've got 11:40 a.m. and 2:40 p.m. Okay, so again, they're both 40, which is 20 minutes to, so that's 20 minutes to 12, and this is 20 minutes to 3. Okay, so 20 minutes to 12 midday, and then 20 minutes to 3 in the afternoon. So I'm again just going to count in hours. So 11:40, 12:40, 1:40, 2:40. So that one is 3 hours difference, 3 hours duration. Okay, so I'm comparing those then, those durations. This one is 3 hours, which is 1 more hour than this one, which means that is greater. Okay, so this first time is less, this first duration is less than the second one. Then number 3, we've got 3:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now the difference here is that you've got 3:30 in the morning, so in the middle of the night when you're asleep, all the way around till 5 p.m., so 5 o'clock in the evening. Okay, so you go between 3:30 a.m. and then you can even go to 3:30 p.m., which is 12 hours, then add another hour, give you to 4:30 p.m. and then half an hour will get you to 5 p.m. So that's 13 hours and 30 minutes. 13 and a half hours. Now here, our numbers are the same, but the only thing that's changed is the PM and the AM. So instead this one's starting at 3:30, 3:30 PM in the afternoon, and finishes at 5 AM, so 5 o'clock in the morning. So it's very similar to here, but they've just swapped them round, so it is actually just going to be the same. Just different times of the day, as in it's 3:30 in the afternoon instead of in the morning, and then it finishes at 5 in the morning instead of 5 in the afternoon. So you could add 12 hours to get you to 3:30 in the morning, and then another hour to get you to 4:30 in the morning, which gives you 13 hours, and then you just need to add your 30 minutes to get you to the next hour, which is 5 o'clock, which means that these two are equal, they are the same. Okay, so well done if you got those. Remember, it's okay if you didn't. Right, so for your secure it then, Eva and Mo were having a race. It takes Eva 3.5 minutes to complete the race, and it takes Mo 3 minutes and 15 seconds. So before we go any further than that, I'm just going to convert that half minute into seconds, just in case that tricked anybody. So 3.5 minutes. So how many seconds are in 1 minute? There are 60, so half a minute will be 30 seconds. So that's 3 minutes 30 seconds. Okay, and then we've got Mo, who did 3 minutes 15 seconds. Okay, now Eva, who got 3.5 minutes, so 3 minutes and 30 seconds, she says she won because she got a higher time. Is Eva correct? Explain how you know. So she's looked at her time and she's compared it to Mo's, and then she's saying, well, her duration is higher. So that means it's greater than Mo's time, which means she won. Now, she's correct in that her time is greater. If we were to write that, we would be using this symbol here, okay, because hers was greater. I'll give her that. Oh my goodness, I need to move. Oh, no, it's not going to happen. Her time was greater than Mo's. However, they are running a race. So when you're running a race, do you want the highest time, the greatest time, or do you want the quickest time, the shortest time? Okay, so just because hers is higher, if you were perhaps doing a competition for how long you could hula hoop for, she would win then because she did it for a longer time, okay, and she got a higher time. But in this example, they are having a race, so you want to be able to finish the race really quickly, not be have a longer time. Okay, so she is incorrect. So in your example then, you might say Eva is incorrect because she took longer to complete the race. You might, if you've put, oh, she's correct because her time is higher, I understand that. However, that's not how a race is won. So there was a little bit of comprehension there, so making sure that you understood that she can't have won the race from getting a higher time. Okay, so for today's learning then, we are going to be looking at finding end time. So adding our duration to see what time something finishes when we've just got the start time to go by and the duration. All right, so pause it now so you can write today's date, Wednesday the 20th of May 2020, and your learning objective to find end times. Okay, so this is the link that I've put in your, oh no, I don't know, no, sorry guys, I don't know why that's come up. I'm guessing my computer's going a little bit slowly. I'm just going to check that is still recording. Good. Okay, so this link here is www.visnos.com. It just has an online clock. I'm going to show you in just a second. I've put this link on your activity packs on the school website on your home learning page. It's super helpful. Okay. I'll show you how that works in just a second. So here I've got a clock that shows the time. It says a 40-minute TV program starts at this time. And what time does it finish? If that's the time it starts, that's in the 4th hour, and we're 10 minutes past 4. So that's 10 past 4. And the program lasts for 40 minutes. So what time is that going to finish? I'm going to show you the link that I've sent you. So now this is the time, that I am doing this video, nearly 8 o'clock on an evening. So you have your clock here, your analog clock, but then at the top here you've got your digital time, so it's really useful to compare those. I'm just going to set this clock to the time I said, so I've just dragged my hour hand to my 4 and it automatically moves the minute hand to wherever my hour hand is. I want it to 10 past those, so I'm going to drag my minute hand, so that's 5 past 4. I want it at 10 past 4, okay? There's my digital clock up there. It says PM. If I want it in 24-hour clock, it converts it for me as well, okay? So you can either have a 12-hour clock and it'll just say AM or PM, 24-hour. Okay, so for now I'm just going to put it on 12-hour. So 10 past 4 is the time a program starts, and it lasted for 40 minutes. So that's just in minutes. So I don't need to move my hour hand. I'm going to use my minute hand because it's 40-minute duration, and I'm going to count 40 minutes. So I'm going to imagine here's 0, and then from this point I'm going to add on 40 minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Oh, was it 40 minutes? I think it was 40 minutes. Let me just double check. Yeah, 40-minute program. Okay, so I've gone from 10 past here and I've gone all the way around. I've added 40 minutes onto 10 minutes past. We know that 40 add 10 is 50, so we are now, look at your digital clock, at 4:50, which means that it's 10 minutes to 5, so it's 10 to 5. Okay, so that is how we find the end time. And then our answer is, what time does it finish? 4:50 PM. Okay, or it might be 16:50, whichever one you want to say. So I do not mind if you use your clock to do your online clock to do every single one of these. That's absolutely fine. This is exactly how we would be doing it in school. You would all be sat on the carpet. No, you wouldn't actually. I'd probably sit you at your tables, and you'd all have a clock. Okay, I'm just moving that because if it's half past, your hour hand will be halfway between those 2 hours. I will show you what I mean in a second. But yeah, you would all have your own clock, and you'd practice moving your hands around on your clock to understand it. Really, it's really useful. So here then, our start time is 3:30. Okay, and the duration is 20 minutes, so what is our end time? Again, I'm going to come back to my clock, so it's 3:30, 20 minutes. I'm just going to drag my hour hand because I know I'm in the third hour, and then I'm going to get my minute hand round to 3:30. Okay, so that is 3:30. Got the digital time up there, 3:30 p.m, and it's 20 minutes. So if you wanted to do it in your head, we're not adding any hours there, we're just adding 20 minutes. So I could just do 30 add 20 minutes, and as long as it's less than 60, we're okay. No, we don't need to change our hour because there are 60 minutes in an hour. Or if you want to double check how your hour hand moves, you can use this clock and count on from here 20 minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20. Oh, there we go. And yeah, it is 3:50. Okay, we knew that 30 add 20 equals 50, so we are 50 minutes past 3. We are 3:50, which is also 10 minutes to 4 o'clock. So our answer is 3:50. Okay, and we'll say in the afternoon. Okay, second one then. I've got the time there. It is, again, I've not done these very well, have I? Oh no, don't want that. I want that one. It looks like it is 10 minutes to 1, so very nearly 1 o'clock. So it's not quite at 1 o'clock, and the duration is going to be 35 minutes. Now, this is where it could cause some problems. So it's 10 minutes to 1. There we go, which is actually 12:50. We're still in the 12th hour, not at 1 o'clock yet when it's digital time. So 10 minutes to 1, 12:50, and we're adding 35 minutes. Now, the problem here is when you look at your minutes, and if you just wanted to add 35 to that, we would actually then have 50, 60, 70, 85 minutes. Looking at this clock, you can see that we're actually going to change the hour. That's because in 10 minutes time, because 50 add 10 is 60, so 50, 51, 2, 3, 4, 55. Can you see, as my minute hand gets to 59, we don't actually ever get to 60, because when it's the 60th minute, it's been 1 whole hour since 12 o'clock, and it then becomes 1 o'clock. So watch that digital time change over here. 12:59, 1 o'clock. Okay? So when it's 10 to 1 and we're adding 35 minutes, we can't simply just add 35 to 50 because that will give us 85, and that's over an hour. 60 minutes is 1 hour. Okay, so you can add your 10 minutes, gets you to 1 o'clock, so it's 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 35, there. Okay, so that would be 35 minutes later. All right. A nice way to know is, remember as well, when it's 35, 30 minutes is half an hour. So we were on 10 to before, so you just go halfway opposite and then add another 5 minutes. So we're now 1:25. 25 minutes past 1 is our end time. 1:25. That could be AM or PM. Okay, so here we've got 25 minutes past 8 and our duration is half an hour. 25 minutes past 8. I'm just going to quickly get my hour hands. 25 minutes past 8 and half an hour. So we know that half an hour, or 1 hour is 60 minutes, so half an hour is 30 minutes. You could have a little look at your digital time, 8:25. Can we just add 30 minutes to that? 30 add 20 is 5, add another 5 is 55. Yep, that's less than 60. So we could just do it that way, but if you're not sure, you can use your clock and just make jumps of 5 minutes until you've counted 30. So dragging your minute hands, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yep, it gets us to 8:55, which as you can see is very nearly 9 o'clock, just 5 minutes until 9 o'clock because 55 and 5 is 60. So our answer is 8:55. Okay. Right, going to do, let me just check. Yeah, we'll do these couple because this is where I've picked up the duration a little bit, so a little bit more to do here. So your start time there, I've got 5 minutes to 1 o'clock again, so it's very nearly 1 o'clock. But your duration isn't just minutes now, it's now 1 hour and minutes. So got 5 to 1 and it's an hour and 15. 5 to 1. There we go. So 5 minutes to 1 o'clock and it's 1 hour and 15. So from this point here, I'm not just going to drag that back an hour. You could up here just add 1 hour. And to do that on my clock, I just have to drag my minute hand all the way back round to where it started. So I'm going to add 1 hour. Look at how my hour hand changes automatically. Back to there. So I've added 1 hour. So I'm now 1:55 instead of 12:55. And 15 minutes. 5, 10, 15. Oops. Okay. So my answer is 10 minutes past 2. 2:10. Okay, do one more of those then before you have a go yourself. So my start time here is 12:30. I've not put the hands on there. I'm in the 12th hour and it's 30 minutes past. So it's 12:30. Duration is 1 hour and 50 minutes. So 12:30, 1 hour 50. 12:30. So 12:30 and we're adding an hour and 50 minutes. So again, you could just add an hour up here, so then it's 1:30. Let me do that on here by going all the way around once. There we go. And now we need to add 50 minutes to that. Again, we could look at that and we could do 50 add 30, but we know that gives us 80, which is over another hour. So I'm just going to use my clock here. I know that that's going to give me 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. And I get on there. Oh, come on. There we go. So I've now added 1 hour and 50 minutes, so my time is 2:20. Okay. Right. I'm going to go straight ahead now to your do it. What I'd like you to do in your book, please, underneath where you've written today's date, you can draw a little table. If you've got a ruler, that would be amazing. So you can do it just like I've done. You've got a start time there, a duration, but your end time is missing. So you need to find the end time. If I were you though, I would write it out just like this, okay? 1 line per one, and I'd set it out like that, almost like in a table. But if you really want to, like if you really are struggling, just use this clock online if you can get it. It'd be amazing, especially if you've got an iPad. That might be really, I'm guessing with an iPad you can just do it using your finger and drag it around, okay? It is there to help you. It's not cheating, okay? This is what I would be getting you to do in class. So have a go at that. Pause it now so you can get that in your book and have a go. And when you're ready, press play and I'll go through the secure it with you. Okay, so here's your secure it. Then you've got a picture of a clock there. Okay, so you're not in the 3rd hour just yet. You're still in the 2nd hour. School ends in 45 minutes. So 45 minutes from here will be the end of school. Amir says, well, it's 20 minutes to 3 o'clock. So school finishes at 3:25 p.m. Whitney says school ends at 2:85 p.m. Or just 2:85, sorry. Who do you agree with? Explain why. So think about what each of those have done there. Who is correct? I'll give you a clue. Oh, excuse me. One of them is wrong. It's not both of them that are right. Okay, so have a go at that then. Use your online clock to help you and let me know if there's any problems. But also, guys, the best way to learn time at this point is just to keep checking on the time, see if you can tell the time at different points throughout the day. Okay, ask an adult in your house, at home, to help check for you. Why is asking me to do that? Okay, see you later, guys. Bye.
Morning everyone, welcome to your writing lesson for today. We're going to kick off with our warm-up activity. Remembering this week we're focused on it's or its. We're into this habit now. We know that it's with an apostrophe is it is, and it's without an apostrophe means something belongs to it. For example, the crab hid in its shell. The shell belongs to the crab. Or it's time to go home. It is time to go home, so we need an apostrophe. So we know what we're doing now, so copy these 2 sentences. The dragon sat on its gold and blew a ring of smoke. We need to return the alien, but its home is far away. Put the right it's in and then come back to me ready for the answers. Pause the video.
Okay, let's have a look. Did you get these both right today? I managed to be a little bit sneaky with you because both of these are its possession. They're belonging to its. They do not need an apostrophe. The dragon sat on its gold. The gold belongs to the dragon, so there's no apostrophe. We need to return the alien, but its home is far away. The home belongs to the alien, so again, no apostrophe. More of these tomorrow as we move through the week to get really, really confident with them. So today we're going to be writing a diary entry to show how the character feels. So this builds on our work that we were doing last week when we did our reports about going to visit the Wizarding World, and we had to write a review as to whether we liked the day out or we didn't. This links in from this, and we're going to be thinking about characters, and we're going to be writing a diary entry as if we're one of those characters in this clip. So having a little look here, have a little look at Neville, who's this character here. He's obviously just got onto his broomstick for the first time. How do you think he might be feeling? Just have a pause, write down a few words to describe how this character's feeling. Okay, so how do you think he was feeling? Do you think he was feeling nervous? Did you think he was feeling excited? Did you think he was feeling worried? Did you think he was feeling frightened when he's up there on the broom? Okay, you might have used any number of these words. You might have used something else completely different of your own. Did you think he looked scared? We're going to use these words to help us with our writing today, but we're not going to tell our reader that they were nervous or that he was worried or that he was scared. We are going to describe that feeling for our character. So let's have a little look at a diary entry, okay? A little bit of an extract. It's not a diary entry, sorry, this is the bit from the text. And what I'd like you to do as we're going through is have a little think about how Harry Potter is feeling in this extract. How do we know? What have we spotted, okay? So at 3:30 that afternoon, Harry, Ron and the other Gryffindors hurried down the steps into the grounds for their first flying lesson. It was a clear, breezy day and the grass rippled under their feet as they marched down the sloping lawns towards a smooth lawn on the opposite side of the grounds to the Forbidden Forest, whose trees were swaying darkly in the distance. The Slytherins were already there, and so were 20 broomsticks lying in neat lines on the ground. Harry had heard Fred and George Weasley complain about the school brooms, saying that some of them started to vibrate if you flew too high, or always flew slightly to the left. Their teacher, Madam Hooch, arrived. She had short grey hair and yellow eyes like a hawk. "Well, what are you waiting for?" she barked. "Everyone stand by a broomstick. Come on, hurry up." Harry glanced down at his broom. It was old, and some of the twigs stuck out at odd angles. "Stick out your right hand over your broom," growled Madam Hooch at the front, "and say up. Up," everyone shouted. Harry's broom jumped into his hand at once. It was one of the few that did. Hermione Granger's had simply rolled on the ground, and Neville's hadn't moved at all. Perhaps brooms, like horses, could tell when you were afraid, thought Harry. There was a quaver in Neville's voice that said only too clearly that he wanted to keep his feet on the ground. So, how do we think Harry's feeling about this from this part of the text, okay? So if we have a little think, how are we feeling when his broom jumped up into his hand? How do you think he was feeling when he had to shout up? How do you think he was feeling when he was thinking about what the Weasley twins had complained about the brooms doing? How do you think he was feeling when the trees were swaying darkly in the distance? Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind, because what we're going to do today is we're going to watch the same scene as we've just read about from the book in the movie. And what I want you to think about is how Harry's feeling when Madam Hooch arrives, when he calls his broom up, when Ron's broom hits him in the face, when he sits on his broom for the first time, when Neville flies away, and when Neville falls. These are the things that happen in the video clip, and I want you to think about what Harry's feeling, okay? So when you're watching the video clip, I would like you to write down some feeling words, just like we did at the start about Neville, for each of these different activities, because that's going to help you with writing your diary entry today. So let's have a look at the clip, and then we'll get on to our writing. Here we go.
Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, Madam Hooch.
Good afternoon, Amanda. Good afternoon. Welcome to your first flying lesson. Well, what are you waiting for? Everyone step up to the left side of their broomstick. Come on now, hurry up. Stick your right hand over the broom and say up. With feeling.
Shut up, Harry.
Now, once you've got hold of your broom, I want you to mount it. And grip it tight. You don't want to be sliding off the end. When I blow my whistle, I want each of you to kick off from the ground hard. Keep your broom steady. Hover for a moment. Then lean forward slightly and touch back down. On my whistle, 3, 2... Mr. Longbottom. Mr. Longbottom! Come back down this instant! Mr. Longbottom!
Okay, so we're going to use that clip that we've just watched to help us to write our diary entry today. Okay, so our diary entry is going to include all of the different things that happened in the video clip. So when Madam Hooch arrived at the lesson, when he calls up with his broom and his broom arrives in his hand, when Ron's broom hits him in the face, when he sits on his broom for the first time, when Neville flies away and when Neville falls, and we're going to write it from Harry's perspective. So you're going to pretend to be Harry Potter today. These are the things that we need to be able to include within our sentences. So we're going to write in the first person because we're going to pretend that we are Harry. I did this. We went out there. We're going to use conjunctions to help us order the events. First, next, last, then. You're going to use those emotion words to tell the reader how you're feeling. I was feeling worried. I was feeling excited. I was feeling nervous. If you're really up for a challenge today, you could not use the emotion words and you could describe how you're feeling. So maybe your palms were sweaty or you were breathing really hard. Yeah, and that would tell me how you're feeling rather than using the words. And then as we've been working on all week, I want you to use those conjunctions to extend your sentences. Here are some emotions, some feeling words to help you. These are in your work pack as well. And you're going to use all of this to help you with your writing. And what I'd like you to do is write your diary entry. Have a read through it and make sure that it makes sense. Make sure it's exciting and it engages your reader. Make sure it's entertaining and you write about the funny bits as well as the scary bits. And then, if you would like to, you can share your writing with us by emailing Miss Foster or Miss Cunnington. But now you need to pause the video, write your diary entry, and then come back to me and we will go over our connected curriculum for today. So pause the video now. Okay, fantastic. I hope you've written a really fantastic diary entry and you liked feeling like Harry Potter for the day on his first flying lesson. Remember that you can send those in to us. You can snap us a photo if you wrote it by hand or you can email it in if you wrote it on the computer. It's year3@redbrookhayes.staffs.sch.uk for Miss Cunnington and year 4 at redbrookhayes.staffs.sch.uk for Miss Foster. Now, onto our connected curriculum for today. You'll remember that we've started a new project this week. We're still on our World of Wonders topic, but we're looking at art and sculpture this week. There's an essential activity for everybody to complete within the work pack with lots of links to galleries and videos and even a quiz to test your knowledge about different types of sculpture. And then you've got some sculpting projects to do for challenge 1, challenge 2 and challenge 3 with tinfoil, with natural materials or with cardboard or clay. And then for challenge 4, if you'd rather not do the arty challenges, you can research one of the famous sculptures that are one of the wonders of the world and tell us about it. You could even make your own replica of the sculpture using paper mache or Lego or recycling if that's that's something that tickles your fancy as well. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we'll be back with more learning adventures tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Bye.